As busy parents, we have so much busyness in our worlds taking care of our children and our families. And often, reading aloud before bed can be pushed to the wayside so that we can make time for all of the other things that we have on our to-do list. But I'm here to tell you today why it's so important to cling to this nightly tradition. Reading aloud to your child each night builds literacy capabilities. It helps develop good reading comprehension, strong listening skills, and a good and vast vocabulary. Studies show that babies who are read to regularly have a larger receptive vocabulary than babies who are not. So your child is never too young to start this family bonding time. This means that they understand more words as they grow older because they've heard them in books. Books introduce objects and words that may not be in the scope of their normal daily experience. How Do You Make a Rainbow is a delightful story that not only will teach you color recognition, but is a sweet, sweet story about how you can find color anywhere. Red is love that binds your family. Green is croaking frogs and helping plant new trees. And before you know it, there's a rainbow. The perfect fit helps children accept themselves and their friends just as they are. What happens when a triangle tries to make friends with a bunch of circles? Triangle doesn't quite fit in, but will they accept her anyway? Don't exclude your older children in this nightly ritual. Reading aloud regularly to your children, no matter how old they are, encourages more independent reading. When reading is associated with something they enjoy, like spending more time with you and the rest of your family, then they're more than likely to pick up a book and read it on their own. Leo and the Octopus is a sweet and endearing tale about a little boy on the autism spectrum who doesn't feel understood until he meets the beautiful, beautiful octopus. Follow this and learn a little bit about those who are different and how to be good friends. Have a child with a bit of a temper? Then Barbara Throws a Wobbler might be for you. A wobbler is one of those moments when a child just cannot help themselves by expressing themselves quite loudly. Follow Barbara as she works through her feelings and help your child realize that they are not alone. Reading aloud regularly to your children also grows strong imagination. One study in the official journal for the American Association for Pediatrics showed that children who were read aloud to frequently had more neural activation for mental imagery and narrative comprehension. That means they can imagine all the fabulous worlds they find in books. Who can resist harrowing adventure, or princes and witches and thieves and bears, or ninja frogs? This fun series will be a staple for your nighttime readings as soon as you've read it for the first time. Join the dad who likes to create a story on the spot, because we all know children love to do that. Hey, tell me about this. And adults have to dig into their imaginations to entertain their child, and this dad does not disappoint. Add both of these titles to your bedtime routines. You can also use nighttime reading to help your child learn empathy and emotional intelligence. Through characters' life circumstances and trials and journeys, children learn about what goes on in the world outside of their own sphere. It can also help them feel like they're not alone when they're going through something, because they can find someone they can relate to in the pages of a book. It's just another book about bears. Bears are beloved characters in so many children's stories. But what would happen, do you think, when the bears get tired of always being the center of attention? Oh no, someone needs to work on their manners. Raise your hand if you have a child that might need some help with that. Follow Katie Crocodile in her tea party as she teaches her tiger friends how to be a little bit more polite. Bedtime stories can also encourage inquisitiveness and create good conversation. Let them ask questions about what's going on in the story and the plot, about the characters, about the illustrations, and have these back and forth conversations with your child. Our compilation stories, like our Forgotten Fairy Tales of Kindness and Courage, Forgotten Fairy Tales of Brave and Brilliant Girls, Tales of Brave and Brilliant Girls Around the World, and even some of our Fairy Tales for Children and Just So stories will give you multiple nights of reading material. Read one story a night or even stretch it further, and then at the end you'll have a cherished family memory. Don't forget long beloved classics. We have illustrated originals unabridged stories that you will know and love, and then you can share with your children and all the moments that you loved when you read them as children, or read them together for the very first time. And of course, reading aloud to your child helps build your relationship. Whether you do it one or as a family, as a group, nothing beats spending more positive time with your children.